The rain came down in sharp, cold needles, soaking the empty street under the dim orange glow of the street lamps. At the far end of the road, a battered motorcycle engine growled, cutting through the silence like a predator's warning. Standing outside the clinic, Nurse Amina clutched her umbrella and the medical supplies she'd just locked away. She was exhausted after a double shift, her feet ached, her eyes burned, but her mind kept replaying the soft voice of the child she had just treated. "Thank you, Nurse Amina," the boy had whispered. It had been worth every drop of energy. She didn't hear the biker approach until it was too late. The motorcycle roared closer, swerving violently. The rider, a tall, broad-shouldered man with a leather jacket and a helmet streaked with mud, didn't slow down. Instead, he leaned toward her, his gloved hand snatching at her shoulder bag. Amina stumbled, slipping on the wet pavement, and then, hard, she hit the ground. The cold water soaked into her uniform, the metallic taste of blood sharp on her lip. For a moment, the world blurred. She saw his boots stop inches from her head. Then, with a low chuckle, he kicked her supplies toward the gutter. That was when something inside her snapped. It wasn't just the pain, it was the months of endless shifts during an outbreak, the constant strain of seeing people suffer, and the injustice of being treated like nothing more than an easy target. Amina's eyes locked onto the wooden chair outside the nearby tea stall, abandoned in the rain. The back leg had snapped, leaving a jagged, solid piece of wood lying in the puddle. She pushed herself up slowly, ignoring the throbbing in her knees. Her fingers wrapped around the broken chair leg, water dripping from its edge. The biker noticed the movement and tilted his head, amused. "You think you can scare me with that, nurse?" he sneered, pulling off his helmet to reveal a scarred face and a smirk that made her blood boil. Amina didn't answer. She took one step forward, then another, her grip tightening. Every memory of the patients she had fought to save, every night she had walked home alone through dangerous streets, every insult she had swallowed, rose inside her like a storm. The biker lunged first. His hand shot toward her, but she sidestepped, the broken chair leg striking his forearm with a sickening crack. He cursed and staggered back, clutching his arm. But she didn't stop. A fierce, unyielding fire had taken over. She swung again, knocking the helmet from his other hand, then planted her foot on his chest and shoved him into the wall. A small crowd had started to gather under the awnings, their murmurs growing louder. Someone pulled out a phone to record. "Pick up my supplies," she said through clenched teeth, her voice shaking not from fear, but from fury. The biker, stunned by the sudden shift in power, bent down slowly, placing the soaked medical bag back in her hands. Just then, two other motorcycles screeched to a stop nearby, his gang. 3 more men stepped off, their eyes narrowing as they took in the scene. Amina's heart pounded, but she didn't back down. She stood in the rain, hair plastered to her face, broken chair leg still in her hand, the crowd now pressing closer. One of the new bikers muttered, "She's not worth it, bro." Too many eyes. They hesitated, realizing the recording phones meant trouble. Finally, they revved their engines and pulled away, their leader glaring back at her one last time before riding off. When the street fell silent again, Amina felt her knees weaken. The adrenaline drained away, replaced by exhaustion. An older man from the tea stall rushed to her side, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Betty, you stood up like a lioness," he said softly. She looked down, at the soaked supplies in her arms and thought of the boy at the clinic. Her body ached, her uniform was ruined, but something inside her had shifted. She had faced fear head-on and refused to bow. That night, she treated her own bruises at home, replaying the moment in her mind. Not with pride in the fight itself, but in the fact that she had not let someone take her dignity. The next morning, the video of her standing in the rain, weapon in hand, was already circulating online. Comments poured in, calling her brave, fearless, and inspiration. But to Amina, the real victory wasn't the fame. It was the quiet truth she carried now. Sometimes, standing up for yourself isn't about winning, it's about refusing to stay down. She returned to the clinic that day, head held high, the broken chair leg now propped against the wall in her small office. A reminder, not of violence, but of the moment she found her own strength.